is a trust, and why do I see all my neighbors put their land inside of a trust in the plat book? Well, a trust is essentially an empty bucket, and that bucket has the rules inside of it where you say how you want the assets that get put in the bucket to be managed and distributed. So if we think about a trust, most of the time what you're going to see in the plat book, those are going to be revocable trusts, meaning that they were established during the life of the owner. The owner could be still living, probably is still living. They would be the trustee of that trust, meaning they're in charge of it. But when we put the land in the trust, that gives us the ability now to manage it a little better, especially in the event of death or incapacity. So that trust would probably have inside of it what's called a credit shelter trust, so that if the farmer is married, the trust can continue after their death for the benefit of their spouse. That can prevent those assets from going into the spouse's name, which has an estate tax benefit, with the value of farmland being what it is. Of course, having the ability to protect as much as we can at both spouses' death is important. That trust can also help us avoid probate, and it can keep your affairs private. So it's pretty common that a farmer would want to have maybe some purchase options or right of first refusal or rental options on land. Well, if we put that in a trust, that's going to keep that a lot more private than if it was in a will and subject to probate. It can also help keep the potential for conflict a little bit lower, because we don't have that platform or a forum that a probate would provide. You know, when a person dies without a trust or they have a will, we have to go through probate. We have to have that executor appointed by the court, but we also have to give notice to all the other beneficiaries and interested parties, which means that they could come to court, which they can do virtually now, and complain about things. And even if their complaints aren't valid, it can still cause a lot of delays, and it can still cost a lot of time and money to respond to. So a trust can help us avoid all of that. Pretty much, if I have a farmer coming into my office and they have a sizable estate, for all the reasons we just mentioned, a trust-based estate plan is pretty much always going to make sense compared to the alternative. And that's why when you open up the plat book, you're going to see trust. The trust doesn't do us a whole lot of good if it's not funded. It is just an empty bucket. We put the land inside of that bucket. Now the land is subject to the rules in the trust, which is the whole point of why we set it up. For more information, follow, subscribe, check out farmlawyer.com.